On this December 19th, I believe, last few weeks of 2013, where we're happy to be joined by i24 News culture correspondent Shachar Peled. I know, here it came out. Yeah, that's good. You're looking, no, is it Christmassy or no, it's orangey?
No, not yet, but I'm
not yet, but
getting
you're there.
ready
you're
for
there.
it. Yes.
And you're here with us for?
Yes, today I bring a serious subject about the first ever film to deal with, to shed light on violence and sexual assault of Palestinian women.
Huge taboo.
Yes, a film called Duma, Dolls, and exactly, it follows the story of Abir Haddad, an artist who wants to break taboos in the Arab society in general. And when more than a decade ago, she encountered an article about sexual abuse against Palestinian women, she decided this is a subject she wants to deal with. She actually created a puppet show, a puppet theater show, and in it she tried to deal with the silencing of the issue in the Palestinian society, but I'm guessing, not surprisingly, no one showed up to see this show. So she decided to make a film out of it, a documentary film which follows the story of her puppet show and the fact that no one wants to see it as part of the silencing.
Talk about it, yeah.
Exactly, the part of the silencing cycle, actually. She managed to convince 5 Palestinian women to open up, to talk to her about this subject. Those 5 women are in the film and they talk about how they were harassed sexually, how they were raped. They talk about it very openly. Let's watch a short segment from the film.
كنت أهرب، كنت أخاف من كيف بتطلع علي، كنت أخاف من كيف بتعامل معي، كنت كل فرصة اللي أكون فيها في البيت لحالي وهو موجود أهرب منها، يعني إنه ألاقي طريقة اللي أطلع من البيت لما هو موجود لحاله.
بس أنا سكتت كل الوقت لأنه ما بدي شيء يأثر على عائلتي، ما بدي شيء يأثر على أمي. إنه
أنا بدي أفهم منك إشي، أنت معنية تقدمي ضده شكوى؟ أنت معنية إنه هو ياخذ جزاءه؟ هذا اللي بدي أسمعه منك. إذا ببقى إسا أشرح لك إيش أنت رح تواجهي من هون عبين ما نوصل للمحكمة.
I mean, the challenges I can only imagine of even doing a film like this, because you know, I don't want to connect the things, but there is the issue in Arab patriarchal societies of honor killings.
Exactly. So that's part of the thing, because what we saw, for example, here is a lawyer trying to convince one of the abused women to talk against her abuser. But, well, let's talk a bit about the numbers. 1 out of every 3 Arab women is attacked in some sort of way violently. This is a statistic that's actually relevant internationally, and in Israel as well. It's 1 out of every 3 women. But in the Arab society, it's 21% of the women who actually report that this happens. So the entire society is against telling, is against reporting, and these women,
mechanism of silence.
Are afraid whether to hurt their families, whether to be banned from society at best, not to get married, to be outcast, and at worst getting murdered, killed because of family honor. And in this patriarchal traditional society, most of the women live many years with their brothers, with their uncle, with their father, which makes sexual abuse from family members much more common in this society. 80% of the women attacked are from a person abuser who they've known before, and 30% of that is from a family member in the Arab community.
And speaking of that, you know, when the scene that we saw, there's a lawyer trying to convince the young woman, but is there anything in the film about any type of legal mechanism within the society that if a woman already comes out and says something, is she protected? I mean, is there any kind of, you know, punishment for the men, which I think is always a problem in situations as such?
Well, the film focuses on the stories of these women. The artist Abir wanted to focus on her puppet show, but once she came to be aware of these stories, she focused naturally on the women, and once they opened up to her, which is a significant achievement, she focused on that. So it doesn't deal with the legal aspect, but what we were told from Naila Awad, who is the head of a shelter for Arab women in Israel, what she told is quite surprising. She said that at around 2000, the year 2000, 45% of the women would speak up and the police would work against the abuser. But since the Intifada, the clashes, there's less and less trust in the legal system, in the police, in the enforcement forces. So less and less women, we're talking about 21% of the women in the Arab community report now because they don't believe in the system that would work against their abusers.
You know, you've got civil unrest. We've seen it in Egypt, in Tahrir Square. The people who were hurt by, you know, this uprise for society were the women.
Absolutely. So this is something that must be dealt with, and I think this film, which is now Abir is all over in universities, colleges, schools. She presented this yesterday to social workers in the University of Tel Aviv. This is something that is trying to bring more and more awareness to the subject, and she says that reactions in the Arab community, both of women and men, are that of we didn't know, especially high school students who said we didn't know. This opens our eyes. We are now much more aware to this. Thank you for bringing
phenomena,
this. Yes.
And who? I mean, first of all, where can one see this film other than?
This film is now released privately, and the Abir walks around in conferences and meetings and showed this in a private way. But this film was nominated for many awards, and it was in international festivals all over the world. You can find it in the Cinematheque in Israel, and
I don't know if you know, but did she encounter any kind of problems trying to bring this out and getting
this? Yes, this is something she worked on many months, and most of the NGOs, the shelters, the psychologists, the social workers she talked to told her this is an impossible mission and we won't help you because these women, they don't come up to us, and once they do, we won't expose them to a film. But there was one NGO who was willing to help, and eventually she found these women through that organization. Yes.
Fascinating, very sad stuff. But again, maybe in this case specifically, culture, art can bring this story out.
Hopefully.
And bring about change of, an ongoing, very tragic situation.
Absolutely.
Shachar Peled, thank you so much for joining me this morning.